Hello students, welcome to this video tutorial on the surface area supernode. Make sure you have the node in front of you, make sure you've got a calculator out. However, what we're going to do is, for this lesson, we're going to start with SketchUp 8. So can you please open SketchUp 8. Now the good part about this series of lessons is that we're going to review a lot of skills that you already know, not only with SketchUp, but with using area and calculating area as well. Okay, so let's begin with a basic sketch. Let's go to File, Save As. In the Save In window, click the down arrow and look for your student number. Look for the second time you see your student number next to a drive image. And then I want you to save the sketch as Surface Area 1. Surface Area 1. And then hit Save. Okay, let's begin. Let's go to Camera, Standard Views, and let's go to Front. We've used this perspective before when we drew the prisms, and that's basically what we're doing. We're reviewing drawing the prisms, making groups, opening them up to show the nets. Let's use the magnifying tool, the zoom tool, and let's zoom right in. Okay. All right, we can use the pan tool so that we're looking closer to her feet. All right, let's use the rectangle tool here. Let's start near her feet. I'm going to start right on the red horizon line. I'm going to click once. Do not hold the mouse button. I'm just going to drag upwards. And then I'm going to type in 4 cm, comma, space 4 cm. So we're drawing a square 4 by 4 centimeters. And then hit enter. Okay, it's going to be quite small. So let's zoom in even further. Okay. Let's orbit around slightly at an angle. So remember, this square is 4 by 4. Let's use the push-pull tool. Let's click once on the face. Do not hold the mouse button down and start pushing backwards. And I want you to type in 2.5 cm. So you can see that it's actually not quite, it's not a very thick box, is it? The depth is very narrow. It's only 2.5 centimeters deep. Okay, let's turn around to the front again. Let's zoom in even further. And let's label some of the sides. So along the left-hand side, let's click on the 3D text tool. If you don't have this this toolbar down the side, you can access it by View, Toolbars, Large Tool Set. All right. Let's click on the 3D text tool, and I want you to type in base. You can change it to any font you want. I'm just going to leave it Arial narrow because we don't have a lot of space, so I actually want the font to be quite narrow. As for the height, I want you to type in 0.5 centimeters and then hit place. I would like you to place that label right in the center of the base. So the reason why we chose the camera view front is we always want to make the base the front. Okay, the base can really be any side, but for this series of videos, we're going to make the base the front and the back. So now let's spin around to the back. And let's do the same thing for this because the base is on the front, but it also has a matching side opposite to it. So we're going to click on the 3D text tool again and type in base. And for the height, we're going to go 0.5 centimeters again. I think we're going to use 0.5 as the standard height for this video. Let's click place, and let's place that in the center of that side. Okay, let's spin around back to the front. So let's put the measurements on this side, on this base. Remember, this is a square that's 4 by 4. So let's put those measurements right on the side. So click on the 3D text tool again, type in 4 centimeters, a height 0.5 centimeters, click place. I'm going to place it near the bottom here. Okay, I can center it if you want. That's fine. And let's click on the 3D text tool again. Let's type 4 centimeters, 0.5 cm, and I'm going to click place. Now I'm going to place it on this side here. Okay, but what I can do is I can place it, then I can use the rotate tool. Okay, up here. I can click on it once, and then click on it a second time, and I should be able, remember I'm not holding the mouse button down, I'm just clicked it a second time to start turning, and then I'll put it vertical. Now what I want to do is, if you can, I want to get this measurement closer to the edge. So let's use the move tool here. Click on the move tool, and sometimes you don't get a lot of movement, you don't get a lot of control of where this goes, but if you can get it near the edge, then that would be great. So I'm going to try to get it near the edge. Like I said, sometimes it doesn't give you a lot of control, but there I go. Okay, that looks good. So let's go to the back side and do the same thing. Now, a lot of this work is very tedious, it's very repetitive. So, once you get the hang of it, let's start moving quickly through it. All right, let's do the same thing. 3D text tool, 4 cm, 0.5 centimeters as the height. I'm going to place it near the bottom. I could place it near the top. It doesn't matter. How about for this one, I'll just place it at the top. And I'm going to click on the 3D text tool again, 4 cm, a height of 0.5 cm, place. I'll place it near the edge here. I'll click on the rotate tool, click once, click twice, and then start. Let's see, sometimes this happens, so I'll just edit, undo. Let me try that again. There we go. Oops. Let me try to get totally straight this time. Keep missing. Let's try that one more time. All right, I'm going to click on the move tool. Make sure I get it all the way on the side. And if it doesn't cooperate, maybe I'll have to put it all the way on this side. Okay, whatever works. Remember, this side is the same as this side. Okay, so now let's go on to the right-hand side here. Okay, so if I kind of look at this side from an angle, it kind of gives me some hints. So I see that this edge here is 4 centimeters. Do you remember what this edge would be? How far did we push this back? 2.5, right? Okay, so let's use the 3D text tool. 2.5 cm. Our height is 0.5 cm. Click place. And then I want to place it right here near the bottom. And let's do 3D text tool, 4 cm, a height of 0.5 cm, place. I'll place it here. It doesn't matter, I'll place it here. Click on the rotate tool, click once, and then if I drag a line across, click a second time, and then pull it up like that. Let's see if I can get it a little bit away from the edge. And let's see. I'll just place it right there. Okay, so let's do the same for the opposite side. So if I call this the right side, then the opposite side is going to be exactly the same. It should also be 4 by 2.5, a rectangle this time. I didn't mention that when we were labeling this side with the measurements. It is a rectangle, right? Whereas the front base was a square, 4 by 4. This is a rectangle, 4 by 2.5. So let's go to the opposite side and do the same thing. 2.5 cm, 0.5 cm for the height. I'll place it, this time maybe I'll place it at the top. It doesn't matter. And then I'll create my label for 4 centimeter, 0.5 cm. I'll place it here. I'll use my rotate tool. I'll click once, and then if I just kind of drag a line across, click a second time, and pull up, and again, it looks like I've gone off the edge. So I'm just practicing. I'll get better at it. I'll get better at positioning those letters. And again, I'll place it on this side because it's not really cooperating on this side. So I'll place it over here. Okay, so what sides do we have left to mark the measurements on? Well, how about the top? So again, if I have a look at it from an angle, I can get some clues from the other sides. So it looks like this edge here is going to be 4 centimeters, and it looks like this edge over here is going to be 2.5. Okay, so let's straighten out. Click on the text tool, 2.5 cm, 0.5 cm, and then I will place that here, and then I have to rotate it. So let's click on the rotate tool, click once, and then I'll draw a line vertically, click a second time, and that should be able to let me rotate downwards. Okay, and then the last one was 4 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and the height of 0.5 centimeters. Place, and I will place it, how about right there? Okay, so this side also has an opposite. So this is kind of the top of the box, isn't it? So now let's view this box from underground, and let's label the measurements for this rectangle. Well, I've only got two choices. I've got 2.5 and 4. So let's create the 4 centimeters first. 0.5 centimeters height, and I'll place that near the edge there. And then the last one is 2.5 cm, 0.5 cm for the height. I'll place it near the bottom. It doesn't matter. Place it here. Click on the rotate tool. Click once, and then draw a line downwards. Click a second time, and then pull it up. I didn't space that very well. I'm going to have to move and adjust. So maybe I'll have to move it down here. Okay. So now let's have a look and rotate a 3D view of our box. We've got all of the sides measurements labeled. Now this is really going to help when we have to draw the net. Okay, that's why we went to all that work. Okay. So let's put a little bit of color here. So let's use the paint tool. Let's click on colors here, colors, and I'm going to use a dark blue, or a nice royal blue, I guess. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this label for the base, because that's very important. And I'm going to paint this label for the base, like that. Now, for the actual measurements, how about I just make them black? Let's see if I can go in and paint these measurements here black color so that they stand out. They stand out fine. We could have gotten away without coloring them, but you know, it doesn't take that much longer to color them. So I'll just orbit around and make sure I get all of the sides. And don't worry if it doesn't color fully in, because once you spin, you'll see that the color is there. Okay, so I got to do the top, almost done. And I got to do the bottom. So let me just view it all the way around. Good. And then now just the bottom. Okay. I'm ready to go. So now is probably a good time to hit save. So let's go to File, Save. Okay. Do you remember how to create the groups? Okay, from our previous unit, going through the prisms in the SketchUp 8 unit in Computer Lab, let's review. So let's click on the pointer tool or the selection tool. Let's deselect. Let's click anywhere on the grass. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is click on the front face. You'll see that it's highlighted. Hold the Shift key. Now you have to click on all parts associated with the front. So let's start with the edges of that square. So make sure you're being very precise and you're only clicking on the edges. There were many problems creating the groups in the SketchUp 8 unit. Now, this label is part of the front, this measurement is part of the front, and this measurement is part of the front. Now I can let go of the Shift key, right-click, and choose Make Group. Do not choose Make Component. Make Group. All right. Now, this is a group that's created. You'll see that nothing else is highlighted in blue. If I orbit around, there is no other part of the diagram that's highlighted in blue. That's how you know you've done it right. All right, let's spin around so that we can see the side. Let's switch back to the selection arrow tool and let's deselect. Click on the ground. All right, let's click on the side face. Hold the Shift key down. Click on the 4 edges. Make sure you're not clicking on anything else. Let's click on the 2 measurement labels and then let go of the Shift key. Right click and choose Make Group. Okay, you'll see that only this group is highlighted in blue now. Okay, let's continue on to the back. Click on the pointer arrow, deselect. Click on that back base face, hold the Shift key, click on the 4 edges, then click on the label, base, click on the measurement, and click on the other measurement. Let go of the Shift key. Right-click somewhere in this group and choose Make Group. All right, let's continue on to the left side here. Switch tools to the pointer arrow, deselect. Make sure you click on the ground. Click on the side face. Hold the Shift key. Click on the 4 edges carefully. Then click on the 2 measurements. Then let go of the Shift key. Right click and choose Make Group. Left click. All right, let's go to the top. Click on the selection arrow tool and deselect. Click on the grass. Click on the front face, or sorry, the top face. Hold Shift. Click on the 4 edges. Click on the 2 measurements. Then let go of the Shift key. Right click and then choose Make Group. Okay. So we've done all of the groups, the 2 bases, the right and left side, and the top. Now, from our SketchUp 8 unit, you know that we don't have to do the bottom because the bottom actually doesn't go anywhere. So we can actually just, we can keep it not a group. Okay? It doesn't hurt to create a group as well. So I'm just going to do it. Okay, I'm going to deselect, click on the sky here, click on that bottom base, that bottom side, hold the Shift key, click on the 4 edges, click on the measurements, let go of the Shift key, right click, and choose Make Group. Okay, so now the fun part. We get to open it up to show the net. So let's click on the magnifying tool and let's zoom out a little bit. Let's deselect, click on the selection arrow tool. I'm going to click on the front group. You notice that nothing else is highlighted. I'm going to click on the rotate tool. I'm going to click once in this on this endpoint. I'm going to click and hold the mouse and go across to this endpoint, this corner, and let go of the mouse button. Then I'm going to click once up here on the face. Click once. Don't hold the mouse button, and then pull that face down. Okay. All right. Let's do the same for the side now, the right side. Let's click on the selection arrow tool. Let's deselect. Let's click on this group. Click on the rotate tool. Start in this corner at the bottom. Click and hold the mouse button. Go across to the opposite side. Let go of the mouse button. Click once up here on the face. Don't hold the mouse button and pull down with your mouse. There it goes. Okay. Let's go to the back base, okay, the opposite base. Switch tools, deselect. Click on this group. Click on the rotate tool. Start in this corner, endpoint. Click and hold the mouse button. Go across to the opposite corner. Let go of the mouse button. Click once high on the base. Don't hold the mouse button and pull down. All right, so if you remember, there's one little wrinkle when we get to this step. If we continue on exactly the way we've done, we would leave the top hanging, floating in the sky. So what we have to do this time is, we have to click on this group and hold the Shift key and click on this group. Now we're not making a new group. All we did was we selected two separate groups and we're going to move them as one. Let's click on the rotate tool. Start in this corner, click and hold, go across to the opposite, let go. Click once up here, don't hold the mouse button down and pull down. Okay, I'll use my pan tool. Switch tools, deselect. Finally, click on the last group. Click on the rotate tool, bottom left hand corner, go across, let go. Click once, do not hold the mouse button and pull flat. Okay, so we went to all that work so that we can see a net, not just a net. So this is not just exactly the same thing we did in the SketchUp 8 unit, but now we've got the measurements so we can draw the net. Now, funny enough, I'm going to save right now. I'm going to go to File, Save. So the best view, because we pulled everything down, is actually from underneath. See how nice that is, like that? So what I want you to do is I want you to position the screen like this so that you can draw this net. And actually my net is going to end up looking this way. It doesn't matter, okay, but I'm just going to position it this way. Okay, so if you haven't already done so, let's save. Okay, so this concludes the first part of this video, part 1, but we're not going to stop. The video is going to continue, but now what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to our worksheet, the surface area super note. Okay? All right. Okay, so what I would like you to do is, while looking at your screen, your SketchUp 8 net, I would like you to draw a diagram of that net here with all of the measurements. So I want you to hit pause now so that it gives you enough time to draw that net. Okay? Press pause at this time. Okay, so we're back. So hopefully you have a net diagram that looks something like this. And I hope you didn't use all of the space that we're going to need to calculate the surface area. Okay, so let's start with the introduction up here. Remember, surface area refers to the total area of all of the surfaces of a 3D shape. So when it comes to number 1, a square-based rectangular prism, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces, or 6 surfaces. But as we look at our net, we can see some similarities. We have a base, which was the front right here. The diagram says, think of this as the shape's base. That's how we drew it in SketchUp 8. That's how we drew it in a 3D diagram. That's how we label it in our net. So we know that we have one base that looks exactly like another base. So we actually have two bases that are exactly the same area. And then in this diagram, I've labeled them as rectangle 1 all the way across. The reason why I've labeled them rectangle 1 is because they are the same rectangle. They have a length of 4 centimeters and a width of 2.5. This rectangle has a length of 4 centimeters and a width of 2.5. The same with this rectangle, the same with this rectangle. So we have a different rectangle from the base, but we have 4 of them. So that's really important for us when we go to calculate surface area. That's really going to save us a lot of time. Okay, so when we start our calculations, make sure you got your calculator out. We always start with the base. Okay, so step 1 here. Area of the base. Okay, so let's have a look. Our base is a square. That's why it's called square-based rectangular prism. So we know that the area formula for a square is not length times width, It is s squared. Okay, so let's write down what we know. We have an information line. We know that s, a side, is 4 centimeters. Okay, line 3 is our substitution line. Area equals 4 squared. And then finally, our answer of 16 centimeters squared. But hold on. We have 2 bases. So right in our answer line, let's write times 2 because there are 2 bases. Okay, I'm just going to write this here. 2 bases. In case you're ever wondering why we multiplied it by 2. So 16 times 2, hopefully you've got your calculator out, is 32 centimeters squared. So that covers the surface area of this side and this side. Okay, so let's leave that calculation for now and go on to step 2. So now we have to calculate the area of these rectangles. So let's calculate the area of one of those rectangles. So area of R1 equals, and that doesn't look very good. Let me see if I can fix that. Area of R1 equals, well, now we have a rectangle, so don't put s squared. We know that the formula for area of a rectangle is length times width. All right, so what's the length of this rectangle? Well, the longer side is 4 centimeters. The width is 2.5 centimeters. Okay, try to stay ahead of me here. Our substitution line, area equals 4 times 2.5. Using our calculator, we get an answer of 10 centimeters squared. But hold on, we've got 4 of those rectangles. So now we calculated one of these rectangles has an area of 10 centimeters squared, but we have 4 of them. So we have to show that we're multiplying that area by 4 because there are 4 rectangles. 10 times 4 is 40 centimeters squared. Okay? All right, so we're almost done. Step 3 in this case, we'll call it total surface area equals. So what do we do with these two numbers? 32 centimeters squared and 40 centimeters squared. Well, of course, we have to add them together. So let's show our work. We have 32 centimeters squared plus 40 centimeters squared. And using our calculator, what do we get? We get 72 centimeters squared. Okay, now because we finished the question now, we have to have our therefore statement. Therefore, the surface area of this rectangular prism is 72 centimeters squared. There we go. So I hope that made some sense. We started with a fairly easy one, and then we're going to build up on our knowledge from there. Okay, so this concludes this long video part 1 on the surface area supernode part 1. All right, bye.